Hey guys, so today I had my second day back at class after the vacation, and I had a class at 11 a.m. this morning. I thought it was at 10 a.m. for some reason, so I went there, and then, I guess it's better to be early than to be late, so I went there, and then I was like, oh, I gotta go home for an hour. But it was fine. At least I got up like an hour before class instead of like 10 minutes, so that was good. So I went to that class, and the teacher just had me speak with some of the students individually. And I only had time to speak to 3 students because I actually ended up talking for a long time. The first student, he made a really good effort. It took him a while to formulate some sentences, but it was just because he had to think about it a lot. He did a good job though. And the second student, she had a harder time. She was answering all my questions, but in French, so I kept having to remind her to speak in English. And I think a lot of times it's not because she's trying to be stubborn. It's just because it's difficult and I don't know, it's stressful. So, and then the last student, I didn't have a lot of time to talk to her really because the class time ran out. But it was good, and I'll talk to that class next week. Also, then I had my favorite class today, and really in that class today, I had planned to do like some more one-on-one conversations with all of my classes this week. With that first class, I talked to them a little bit about St. Patrick's Day, and since they're quite good at English, I was able to explain some things that might be difficult for my other classes to understand. So I told them a little bit about the history of St. Patrick and why the shamrock is a symbol for St. Patrick's Day. And actually the reason why a lot of people don't know. I learned this when I was studying St. Patrick's Day to teach to my students, but it's rumored that St. Patrick used the shamrock to explain the Holy Trinity. So obviously it has 3 leaves, so 1 leaf for each, for Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. That's why the shamrock is representative of St. Patrick's Day, if you were wondering. And I don't think most of my students might have been able to understand that. Sorry, my nose itches. But that class, I know they would understand it. They're really good in English. And then I ended up just talking with them a lot through the whole class. For the whole hour, we just talked about whatever. They asked me about my holiday, how it was and stuff. We talked about the disappearance of the airplane that disappeared and the pollution in Paris in the past week. We talked about travel in general. They told me a bit about places they'd traveled to, and it was interesting. It was good. My classes are supposed to be conversation classes, so I'm supposed to present themes to them about America and stuff like that, American culture, and also just make them talk as much as possible. So it was really successful. I think I really enjoy when it's just talking because I think then they are interested. But with some of my classes, they're not as interested, so they wouldn't ask as many questions and talk as much. So with this class, it works really well to just have an unstructured forum where we just talk about whatever. I told them a little bit about Mackinac Island in Michigan, which is a really popular summer vacation destination in Michigan. I don't remember how we got on that topic, but anyway, it was a good class. And then after that, I came back to my apartment because I do this a lot on Tuesdays. So on Tuesday, I have 3 classes at the other school, the further away one. One at 1:30, and then the other ones are at 4 and 5. So I have an hour and a half between the first class and the second one. And I do this a lot. I forget my folder with my list of students for Tuesday. So I had to walk back between and get my folder. And luckily, that first class, I only have 10 students, so it's easy. I know all their names, and so I don't need my attendance list to figure out who's missing. But for the last 2, I have more students, so I need the attendance list to remember who's missing and stuff to take attendance. And so I had to walk back and get my attendance list. Then after that, I went back and I had my first class, and I did one-on-one conversations with them. I talked about St. Patrick's Day for like 5 minutes, and we did one-on-one conversations. It went really well. The class was getting a little noisy. I had to remind them a few times to be quiet while I was talking to the one student, but it went pretty well. They all seemed pretty interested and quite talkative, so that was good. And so next week, that class is larger. There are 19 students in that group, and actually, technically, I'm not supposed to have more than 18, I think, or maybe 17. But that's the class This class is split into two groups, one on Monday and one on Tuesday. And some of the students in the Monday group had asked me if they could just come on Tuesday because it was easier for them for whatever reason. And I told them yes because I didn't really care. But that class is the one that's like super noisy, so having a lot of students makes it a little chaotic sometimes, but it's all right. But yeah, so since there are a lot of students, I'm going to do it also next week, the one-on-one conversations, because I think I spoke with 8 of them today, so I'm going to try and get through the rest of them next week, and I might have to do the last few the week after that, but we'll see. And then after that, I was supposed to have another class, and they never showed up. So this class is split into 2 groups, and they alternate every other week, so I only see them every 2 weeks. And the week before the holiday, they were in an internship thing, so they weren't there. And then the week before that, I think I might have made a video about it, I'm not sure. I had a student who just refused to read out loud in the class, and so I had to make her leave like a few minutes before the end of the class. And so it was kind of like a confrontation, a little, I don't know, just a little bit of commotion in the classroom. But it wasn't anything horrible, it was just a little awkward. And it was only the second time I had that class. And so that was the group that I was supposed to have today, the same one that I had the little awkward situation with last time. And none of them came to the class. And so I went to the Vie Scolaire to ask them if they had an internship that day or if they had some practice tests or something, because yesterday I had students that had a practice test, so they went there. And she said no, there was nothing that was interfering, so they just didn't show up, which is weird. So we were wondering if they didn't know they had class or if they all got together and were let's not go to this class. And it's funny because, I don't know, some of the students in that class seem pretty interested and they seem like good students, so I don't know if they would conspire to not go to the class. But if the whole class decided not to go together, it's just kind of funny to me because personally, I don't care really. You'd like to say as a teacher that you care about if your students learn or not, but really, if they're not interested or motivated, there's not much you can do. If they don't care, they don't care. And my class doesn't have any grades, so I can't use that to motivate them. So if they don't want to come to class, then that's fine by me. I'll just go home. It's just kind of funny to me. Maybe that's not the reason they weren't there, but if it is, I just think it's kind of funny. So anyways, that class, I think I will only see them 2 more times, because next week is the other group of that class. And I only have 5 weeks left after this week. So yeah, it's so funny that I'm so close to being done. I'm going to have to start thinking about closing my bank account and that kind of stuff coming up soon, which will not be fun. And yeah, so I only had 3 classes today instead of the 4 I was supposed to have. And yesterday I only had 2 classes instead of the 4 I was supposed to have. Tomorrow I have 1 class, and we're going to be doing one-on-one conversations as well. These students are in their last year, so the teacher wants me to ask them about their internships. And then on Thursday I have 2 classes, and those classes they're pretty fun. I like them. And I think I'm going to do one-on-one conversations with them as well, and I think they'll be interested to do that because most of them are pretty friendly and stuff. And then on Friday, I just have 1 class, and the teacher who I work with for that class wants me to do a presentation about my holidays for them, so about Croatia mostly, because she just thought it would be interesting for them to learn about, because most of them probably won't go to Croatia or haven't been to Croatia, so maybe they'll go after I show them, because I really think Croatia is the most beautiful place I've ever seen, and maybe they'll want to go after they see my pictures and hear me talk about it. But anyway, this video is getting super long, so that's going to be it for today. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.